This is Rosita de Cacao, which, if you pronounce that correctly, it means cacao rose. It is a spice that has been used for hundreds of years in the preparation of chocolate drinks. Today I'm going to try the spice. I'm going to see how it affects the flavor of hot chocolate, and I'm going to try a chocolate bar that is made with it. Rosita de Cacao are the flowers of the funeral tree. The species on it, okay, Quararibea funeris. It's a fun one to say. It's called funeral tree because these flowers are supposed to have such a strong smell. They were placed inside crypts, so when families would go and visit the crypt, they would still be able to smell the flowers. And they do have a strong scent. It's not like abnormally strong, but they do still hold their smell even after being dried out for a long time. I would say that that smell is a bit like chamomile tea and pepper. The funeral tree does produce a fruit, but I wasn't able to find any reference of people eating that fruit. However, it is closely related to a fruit that I've had, the chupa chupa. And the chupa chupa is a weird one. It looks kind of like a boob, and it's really stringy, it's really juicy, and the flavor is a little bit like a mild mango, a little bit floral, a little apricot-y. They're bizarre. They're a bizarre one, but they are quite good, and they also grow in the same area that the funeral tree does. So that's pretty interesting. And this is related to cacao, but not very closely related. They are in the same family, the mallow family. And fun fact, so are baobabs and so are durians. There's a lot of different interesting fruits in the mallow family. Long ago, the Aztecs used the Rosita de Cacao in the preparation of a ceremonial chocolate drink. And today, that tradition still lives on, especially in Oaxaca, Mexico. There's a very popular drink called tajate. And tajate is a corn-based drink that will have cacao, sometimes jaguar cacao, mame sapote seeds, this flour, and sometimes additional spices. These ingredients are ground up into a paste, and then water is added to it, and then it's frothed by hand. The resulting beverage is poured into a vessel called a jicara. So I reviewed every single part of this preparation except for the flowers and the drink itself. I've even reviewed Crescentia alata, which is the fruit that the vessel that the drink is served in is made from. I'm gonna save trying the drink for whenever I visit Oaxaca again, but for now, it is time to talk about the chocolate flour. Before I dive in, I would like to give a shout out to Nat over at madrechocolate.com. Nat was kind enough to send me the Rosita de Cacao and also a chocolate bar that he made using it. So Nat, thank you very much. And to anyone watching who is interested in trying some really interesting types of chocolates, go to madrechocolate.com. Okay, so let me try just one of these on its own. They're kind of cool looking. They're like a little bugle. People don't eat these, by the way, and I don't recommend you do that either. Ha! Huh. The flavor of that is not good. It tastes kind of like shaving cream, something like that. You ever like shave your face and then get a little bit of shaving cream in your mouth? That is the flavor of these flowers when you eat them on their own. And that is why people do not eat them on their own. People make chocolate with them. So next, I'm gonna try something else that people don't normally do. I made a tea out of these. So I just took some of the flowers, I added some hot water and brewed it up. I haven't seen any reference of people doing this, and I'm not sure if there's a reason why I haven't seen any reference of people making a tea out of them. People seem to make tea out of a lot of things. Maybe this isn't something that you want in a great quantity. That is my guess. So I don't recommend anyone do either of these things. Try it raw or make a tea. But I think this will help me get an idea of what these taste like. So, that's pretty good. It's a flavor that kind of like evolves in your mouth. Like the initial taste is like chamomile tea, nothing too extraordinary. But then there's like this back flavor that's kind of like maple syrup. Something like that. Maple syrup, maybe a little bit like burnt caramel or toffee sort of flavor. It's like a sweet flavor without really tasting like actually sweet. I've seen some recommendation of using this spice like ground up and put into like a cake, even like vanilla cake or something, and I think that would actually be a good idea for it. As a tea, I mean, if it's okay to drink an entire glass of this sort of tea, then I'd say yes. If it's not, then I would say no. So, do some research, make sure it's not gonna give you diarrhea, guys. That's your job, not mine. The next thing that I want to do is see how the Rosita de Cacao affects the flavor of chocolate. And I thought the best way to do that is to make a hot chocolate with this. So I bought some Mexican hot chocolate. It's a solid chunk of chocolate that you melt with milk. As an experiment, I made 1 cup with just the Mexican hot chocolate and milk, and I made another cup with the Mexican hot chocolate, milk, and the Rosita de Cacao, just to see how this affects the flavor. So first, let's try just some plain hot chocolate. I've got such a terrible job, I know. If you've never had Mexican hot chocolate, get some Mexican hot chocolate and try it. It has such a nice, strong, rich, chocolatey flavor because it is made with actual chocolate. I think there might be some cinnamon in this too. I'm getting a little bit of a cinnamony taste, and I think that's just like in the chocolate block that I used. But yeah, seriously, Swiss Miss has nothing on Mexican hot chocolate. This stuff is actually good. Next, the hot chocolate made with the Rosita de Cacao. And I put a pretty big pinch of that spice in here, so it should come out. It should come out. I put more than I think people normally would. That is delicious. That is really good. That tastes like how it tasted before. Good quality hot chocolate. But now it tastes like there's an extra element to it. There's a little bit more depth under there. You're getting like the chocolate taste in the front, but then there's like this like back flavor of maple syrup and burnt sugar. I think it actually makes more sense for this spice to be in chocolate than as a tea. I mean, the tea is fine, but I can see why this has for so many years, so many hundreds of years, it's been tied to chocolate because it works with that flavor. It works with that flavor. You know, it's like not like a very strong flavor, but it does sit in the background. If you wanted to make an approximation of this that did not involve these flowers, like if you didn't want to go to Oaxaca, Mexico and pick these flowers up, you could probably make something similar by using fenugreek. Fenugreek has a very similar kind of maple syrup sort of flavor. And a while back, I actually made a faux maple syrup using fenugreek that actually worked out really well, better than Mrs. Buttersworth. But I would say that these flowers are a little bit lighter. They're not as intense as fenugreek. Fenugreek is got like a little bit of like a carrot sort of flavor, a little vegetable taste in there that you have to work with to try to get rid of it if you want to use it for a sweet application. This one doesn't. So finally, before I go, I have something really interesting that I mentioned. I have a chocolate that is made with the Rosita de Cacao, which is a great idea. So Nat over at Madre Chocolate is a mad scientist of chocolate, and he does stuff like this. Inside this bar, we have cacao beans, sugar, cocoa butter, Rosita de Cacao, vanilla. That's it, and it's 70% dark chocolate. All right, so I've had this in my fridge for a while, and because of that, it's changed color a little bit, but that's my fault, not Nat's. Still good. Still good when chocolate looks like that. It's fine. Okay, let's try a piece. This is like really good chocolate, so I am being careful not to just bite into this like I normally would. I'm letting it melt, so I can appreciate the flavor and really savor it. And savored. This is really good quality stuff. Chocolate just like melts in your mouth when you eat it. It's not one that you should be like chewing up and swallowing real fast like you do with a Hershey bar. This is nice and rich, nice and creamy. Good stuff. And I'm definitely getting the Rosita de Cacao. That is definitely in this bar. It's not quite the concentration that is in my chocolate drink because I put a lot in my chocolate drink. In here though, it's just like this nice subtle back flavor. You definitely can taste it in there, and it's like I said, like a little bit of like a maple syrup caramel sort of layer mixed in with the chocolate. It definitely makes sense to put this spice in a chocolate bar or a chocolate drink, and I think it would be a fun one to play with also. I don't think it needs to be with chocolate. It definitely makes sense that it's with chocolate, but it would be good mixed in like baked goods, I think. I think that would be the way to use it. Mix it up into like oatmeal cookies or something that has vanilla in it. Work with like other flavors because it's not like a strong flavor, but it has this nice subtle layer of flavor that I think would work with a lot of things. And yeah, really fun one to try. So thank you once again to Nat over at madrechocolate.com. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. I would like to give a big thank you to Smarter Everyday, Bill T, and Joseph McCorkle. They are mega patrons on patreon.com. Patreon is how I keep this channel going. It is a huge help, so thank you. And to anyone watching who is interested in learning more about how you can support the channel and get some really cool bonuses in return, like early access to videos, exclusive videos, there's over 100 of those. There's even a level where I will send you things in the mail. You gotta check it out. So check out the link in the description below.